How to create a Sudoku solver using Visual Basic 2010. Part 2. Adding functionality. In this part of the tutorial we shall write functions to check for clashes, code the cell change sub, and code the clear button. Take my hand as we return to our creation. We've got work to do, wonders to make, majestic programming trickery to tackle, problems to test. We've got stuff to program. Create an array named grim as a string. Scroll down to the cell change sub and create a nested loop to index our arrays. Now fill each element of the grid with the contents of the corresponding Sudoku text box, and set the color of each Sudoku text box to black. Come out of the cell changed sub and create a function called checkRows. The function will receive the indexes of our array, and it will return a Boolean result, true if there is no clash, and false if there is a clash. Create a function named checkColumns, and a function named checkBox, both with the same parameters as checkRows. The need to copy the contents of the Sudoku text boxes to the grid array will become clearer in Part 3 when we code the backtracking function. Now go back to the cell changed sub and create a nested loop. Check for any clashes in the Sudoku text boxes. If there is a clash, then change the color of the contents of that box to red. Scroll down to the checkRows function. Create a Boolean variable named noClash and set it to true. Create a loop to index the rows. Ensure the contents of the text box isn't empty. Make sure the row is not being checked against itself. If there is a clash, set the noClash variable to false. Return the noClash variable. Code the checkColumns function in almost exactly the same way, just looping through and comparing the Y index rather than the X index. For the checkBox function, we need to check through 3 columns by 3 rows. As before, create a Boolean variable named noClash and set it to true. Create 2 integer variables, one named xStart and one named yStart. Find the first row and the first column of the box we are checking, and assign it to xStart and yStart. Create a nested loop to index the rows and columns of the box we are checking. Ensure the contents of the text box isn't empty. Ensure the cell isn't being checked against itself. If there is a clash, set the noClash variable to false. Return the noClash variable. Run the program. Clashes are detected correctly on the rows as well as the columns. But there seems to be a problem detecting clashes in the 3 by 3 boxes. The problem is here in the cell changed sub. checkColumns is called twice and checkBox is not called at all. Change the second checkColumns call to a checkBox call and run the program. Now columns, rows, and 3 by 3 boxes let you know if there is a clash by turning any clashing numbers red. Now we'll program the clear button. From the left-hand drop box select button clear. From the right-hand drop box select click. Create a variable named result, set to the result of a message box that checks if the user definitely wants to clear the puzzle. If the user has selected yes, create a nested loop and set the contents of all the Sudoku text boxes to an empty string. Run the program. Now enter some random numbers into the Sudoku script. And click the Clear button. Confirm you want to clear the puzzle. And as you can see, the Clear button works as it should. That is the end of part 2. In part 3 we shall program the Solve button.